So, you got the new starter set for D&D, the Dragons of Stormwreck Isle. And check it out, inside there's 5 ready-to-play characters. But who are they, and which one should you choose to play? Today, I'm going to introduce each of the 5 starter set heroes. You spent your early life being trained as a soldier on the island of Mintarn, before eventually joining a mercenary company of freelance soldiers. You traveled with your company to the city of Neverwinter, so that you all could serve in both the army and the city watch. However, over time, you grew disillusioned with many of your fellow soldiers. They seemed to enjoy their newfound authority, lifestyle, and power given to them. They became lax in their duties and used their positions to pursue their own pleasures, often at the expense of the people they were supposed to protect. As a cleric who had devoted themselves to the service and protection of others, this lifestyle became difficult for you to tolerate. Your background as a soldier shaped your character in important ways. You learned several languages in the course of your military career, as reflected in your languages section. Also, your skill proficiencies in athletics and intimidation reflect your physical training and your strict military presence. Recently, you've been having dreams, strange dreams, of a shadow creeping across the sea like a shroud. You watch as it swallows an island in darkness, after which you wake up. Though you dismissed these dreams at first, you've begun to hear a voice calling to you to stand against death's endless hunger. Certain that this is your deity's calling, you've resigned your post as a soldier, and you've left to take on this new mission. Researching images and asking for guidance concerning your dreams has pointed you to Stormwreck Isle. It's a secluded island not far from the city of Neverwinter. A remote cloister there holds a temple to the dragon god Bahamut, who you know is a patron of heroes and a champion of justice. Perhaps someone at this cloister might know more about this approaching darkness, and may hold the key to the impending doom your deity wishes you to prevent. Your parents lived in the prosperous village of Thundertree, east of the city of Neverwinter and at the edge of the Neverwinter Wood. But when nearby Mount Hoteno erupted 30 years ago, your parents fled, perhaps carrying you in your infancy, depending on how old you are. Your family drifted from village to village around the region, finding work as laborers wherever they could. This background shaped your character in important ways. You learned the languages of the people you worked with, as shown in the languages section. Your skill proficiencies in animal handling and survival also reflect your upbringing, working with animals and learning to get by in the natural world. You've spent the last few years in Neverwinter as a carpenter, working at the city's bustling docks. But it's clear to you and everyone around you that you are destined for much more. Your hard work and discipline has you consistently outperforming your peers on the docks. One time, you witnessed a drunk, abusive ship captain as he was beating one of his sailors over some arrogant disagreement. You intervened and put a stop to this, saving the sailor's life. As such, all of the other dock workers now look up to you and treat you as a social leader. But rather than stay put, you've decided to achieve even greater deeds. Someday, you'll be a real hero. In the remote cluster of Dragon's Rest lives an old sage who is supposed to possess great wisdom, or possibly supernatural insight. The cloister holds a temple to the dragon god Bahamut, who is a patron of heroes and a champion of justice. Perhaps the elder of this temple can help you determine exactly what your heroic destiny is and set you on the right path to fulfill it so that you can become the hero you know you're meant to become.
Your family is no stranger to wealth, power, and privilege. In the glory days of Neverwinter, your parents ruled the country of Corlin Hill, located in the hills northeast of the city. But Mount Hoteno erupted 30 years ago, devastating Neverwinter and erasing Corlin Hill. Instead of growing up on an estate, you were raised in a small townhouse in Waterdeep. As an adult, you stand to inherit only your title. However, despite your privileged youth, you've come to appreciate and find peace with this simpler lifestyle. Relationships, accomplishments, and helping others come with rewards that far exceed the value of gold. Your background shaped your character. You learn the languages of dwarves and giants from a childhood tutor, as shown in your languages section, and your skill proficiencies in history and persuasion reflect your education and etiquette. Since swearing an oath to Bahamut, you've returned to Neverwinter to attempt to become a champion to those who are overlooked by the institutions that are supposed to exist to protect them. When your family was newly displaced, you were disheartened to discover how little help you were able to receive. As such, you vowed to help those in need now that you're in a position to do so. Unfortunately, your resolve has been shaken by witnessing the corruption of the city guard and the ruling aristocrats. Their cruel selfishness has you feeling lost and unsure of your place once more. Seeking to reinvigorate your resolve, you've learned of a remote cloister called Dragon's Rest. It is secluded away on a tiny island called Stormwreck Isle. The cloister maintains a temple to the dragon god Bahamut, whomst you made your paladin vows to. You feel drawn to visit this temple and to contemplate your purpose in this world.
At an early age, you fell in with a thieves' guild called the Gilded Gallows. You survived by stealing food, pickpocketing coin, and building reputation within the guild. The guild has prospered in recent years, and its influence is spreading across the Sword Coast. You followed that expansion, hoping to find your fortune in the city of Neverwinter. Your background shaped your character in interesting ways. You learned the use of thieves' tools from scoundrels and gamblers, shown in your proficiencies section, and picked up the goblin language at the same time. Your skill proficiencies in deception and stealth also reflect your upbringing, talking your way out of trouble and skulking past unfriendly eyes. Fortunes in Neverwinter have been fair, but not the fast riches you hoped for. Recently, you heard a story from a smuggler about a high-ranking member of the Gilded Gallows who's turned traitor. They killed their partner and fled with the sovereign's ransom and treasure. Thanks to some details you picked up here and there that corroborate the story, you're certain it's more than just a rumor. Whoever that gilder was who skipped out with the gold, they covered their tracks well. The trail went cold in Neverwinter, but Recently, you've learned of a remote island cloister called Dragon's Rest. Apparently, the cloister holds a temple to the dragon god Bahamut, who's a patron of heroes or something like that. There's also a community of hermits and reclusives who live there now. Sounds like the perfect place to hide for someone wishing to escape their past. If that treasure's there, you're gonna be the one that finds it.
Your parents identified your magical talent early in your long elven life and arranged for you to be apprenticed to a kindly wizard in the city of Neverwinter. You excelled at your studies and forged friendships and rivalries with the other apprentices. You always had a particular knack for wielding flashy, energetic forces, and so you focused your studies on the School of Evocation. This academic background shaped your character in some important ways. A secret sought by a colleague is what drives you. Your skill proficiencies in Arcana and History also reflect your upbringing, studying the nature of magic and the great wizards of days past who wielded it. After graduating from your apprenticeship, you and your peers went your separate ways to focus on your own studies. Recently, you received a letter from one of your colleagues, pointing you toward a source of lost arcane knowledge. However, shortly after the letter arrived, you learned some tragic news. Your friend has died, and under some rather mysterious circumstances. The letter spoke of an arcane observatory built on a nearby island by wizards long gone, and it hinted at powerful magic hidden within. A small cloister known as Dragon's Rest also resides on the same island. The caretaker of the cloister's temple must have some information regarding the observatory. This elder might be able to set you on the path to discovering the knowledge your friend never found. Their passing will not be in vain. And there you have it, guys. All 5 of the starter characters within the Dragons of Stormwreck Isle starter set. This video was just a quick look at the story and motives behind each of the characters. Now, as always, you are more than welcome to change and edit any of these stories to your liking, but if you're a brand new player, these are excellent ways to get started with some role-playing. They're very easy to remember and have simple goals that you can work towards. Coming up next, we're going to be taking a look at each of these characters again, but on an individual level, and focusing more on the gameplay side of things. We're going to be taking a look at the weapons and equipment they carry, the abilities they have, and the magic they can use. Those next few videos are going to be designed like little guides to help new players understand their characters and feel comfortable playing the game. So please consider subscribing if you haven't already, that way you'll be notified when those guides start coming your way. I'm still a brand new channel, so the early support from you guys has been super awesome. I've loved reading your comments, and I can't wait to see what the future holds. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Greg, and this has been +1 to Hit.